Hey guys, all right, here we are on webinar 2. So this webinar is for health coaches. This is all about how to niche your programs, but really how to purchase a done-for-you program and make it specific to your business, make it specific to the very goals you have for your specific client, and also to a signature system. And I was just talking to a coach just a few minutes ago, and we were talking about what is a signature system. So if you watched the replay from yesterday, I talked about this being a new era. And what that means is this, that there was a time when that 250-minute session really worked, and handouts and a food diary and my favorite recipes. But those days are not happening as often as they happened before. So what I teach coaches is something different. It doesn't mean that you have to just have an online business. It doesn't mean that you need to do evergreen webinars. It doesn't mean that you need to run challenges. Doesn't mean that you just need to work offline, but you do need to have a signature system. Yes, a signature system in order to have a successful business. Number one, you need to have a signature system in order to have conversions from a strategy session, from an event offline, from a webinar, from a challenge, or even from meeting somebody in the grocery store. You need to have a signature system when somebody comes to your Work With Me page, so they say, wow, I want to work with this person. You need to have a signature system so that you, as the health coach, or the nutritionist, or the dietitian, or the fitness coach, or whatever your certification is, knows exactly what you're offering to people. So can somebody just raise their hand and tell me that they can hear me properly? Just want to make sure. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Jen. And a signature system, just so we walk through understanding this, it doesn't mean that you have like tons of programs, you know, on your site or tons of opt-in freebies. A signature system means that you are teaching somebody a process. So a lot of people think a signature program or system means a 6-month. Not necessarily the case. A signature system often is what you do that have helped you get from point A to point Z. A signature system is what has helped you get over the struggle that you went through and that you're teaching other people. A signature program is often anywhere from 7 to 14 days to about 3 months. Now that signature system, this is the big one, guys, can be a little different. I was explaining this to this coach early, and I'll take you just through what I had also talked about, and then we're gonna get deep diving into what you guys have to say. For me, it was cleansing my body. It was learning what foods were right for me. I was telling this coach about a client I had worked with. She was a stressed out mom. She was really busy. She was running around with her kids. I mean, she was a really clean eater. It's not like she was eating anything funky or junky. She was buying organic. And she was like eating that banana like right after workout. She couldn't figure out why she couldn't lose weight. And I remember sitting there, and after she was doing the food diary, after she was, you know, documenting her food, and we're talking about stress, and she was never going to be, I say this loud and clear, sorry, she was never going to be a 6-month client. She was never even going to be a 3-month client. I think we worked with each other 2 months. And I'm going to tell you why. She was never going to be the person that was going to talk about like anxiety and go into really deep issues. She just wasn't that person. And even when I would go there, just wasn't of interest, and she may never. And people don't have to get better and be happy in life. It just wasn't for her. But as we started to uncover what was working for her body, the fuel, I said to her, I have this sneaky suspicion, per the work of one of my teachers, Mark Hyman, that you are not breaking down the sugar in this banana. She was like, that's crazy. This is so healthy. So, well, it may not be for you. Why don't you look at, per the work of Donna Gates or anyone else, a lower glycemic food like berries or a green apple or a grapefruit after your workout if you want something. And we just had talked about it. She took away that banana and all of a sudden she started dropping weight. And she said to me, wow, it is mind-blowing. So when people would work with me, there would be a system. I would come, they would, and even for me, I would cleanse. Didn't mean that they would go through the whole cleanse. It was just an idea of clean slate, because people in today's world especially are going to come to you the myriad of major health issues. And we are not doctors. A lot of us are not nutritionists. We are not making claims or diagnosing or doing any of that. Health coaches and in certain states are not telling proteins or carbs or fats, and nor do I even think that is in the realm. Why? Because I have tons of friends who are fruitarians, tons of friends who are raw, paleo, primal, everything. So it's not my business to tell you how much protein you should eat or what to eat, because I have tons of friends who eat all different ways, and so have I, which is why it's my job to give the power back and say, here are a bunch of different ways of eating. I want you to food diary and see how you really feel. Do you feel like, foggy brain? Are you sleeping like a rock? I was stuck in this, like, I have to eat grain-free, I have to eat prime, I have to do this. And what's funny is when I started to add back a little potato and some beans, I started sleeping like a rock. So there's not this right or wrong. I used to be a raw at this one point. I was this, and I went raw till 4, and then warm, and then listen to my body and let go of this black and white. But my system has always stayed the same. You have to learn what to find out. And so my signature system was going to come to me. We're going to get to the bottom of this. So we're going to cleanse the body. This is going to help you move. You're going to sweat. You're going to sweat out the funk. You're going to get that moving. We're going to focus on like chilling out, emotional detox, clearing out negative people, coming back to our Zen, and eating with the seasons. And then we're going to say, do we need to go grain-free? And sometimes we just have to. I had to for years also. I had to do that for, maybe it did work, maybe it didn't, but I do believe that also it reset my body. And then I had to work on my gut. So I always have to see, okay, where do I take the person to the gut program? And then came sugar addiction, my first love. So then I had to work on that. I gave up the that salt addiction. Then I had to work on the sugar. And at the same time working on the sugar was needing to work on the stress and the overwhelm and the need to go, 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 go. So what happened was the birth of needing the mindset program. But I also, before the mindset, would take my clients and also myself through Revitalize. So there is that system. And so that system for each one of you is going to be a little different. for me as well, because I'm with doTERRA and I use essential oils every day, my kids, my dog, myself, my family, my clients, that was infused to everything that I do, every program, group, everything, teaching and empowering. That was always my goal because I felt disempowered when I was going through my own health issues. So let's get down to business. First off, my name is Rachel Feldman. I help coaches like you to build online and offline businesses and understand that in this day and age, you have to niche your business. You have to sub-niche and you have to be very crystal clear on the message, because if you don't, you will get eaten up by the noise that is out there and you will just wash out in the sea with the rest of everyone else who is not making money. And that is not going to happen. So if you have a question today about what program you need for your business, this is the day to get down and dirty. This is the day to ask questions like, hey, how did you get to where you are? How did you JV with a gym? How did you collaborate with us? So please, if there's anybody here who needs to talk about how to build a signature system, how to multi-purpose a program offline, online in your work with me, or if you have questions, because that special code will be going away tomorrow, as well as the first 250 people will only get access to those bonuses, and we are getting close. Now is the time to ask. So, all right, if everyone's going to be quiet, start telling me where you are from, because I will start calling out on people. Anybody? Anybody have a burning question? Okay, from California. Hi, Raquel. Okay, let me see. Colorado. Hi, Jen. Okay, anyone have a question? Come on. We don't want to just sit here and listen to my raspy voice. SoCal. Hey, Bob. Bob, you had a bunch of questions for me yesterday. Feel free. Let's get down to business talking about some questions today. And I can even pull up a document and we can even wrap out somebody's business if they would like. And we can call this a hot seat. Does anyone want to offer themselves up? Okay, Jen is saying yes. Okay, so Jen, wish that I could put you on. Let me see if there's a way to actually, bear with me. Okay, Jen, I am going to unmute all of you guys. Okay, if you guys could just put your phones on mute, if you would be so kind. And then Jen, I'm going to start with you and we're going to rock through your business. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Jen. Jen, can you hear me? Jen? I think I unmuted everyone. Okay. Hold on, let me just see if Jen can chat. Okay, Jen, can you tell me if you can actually hear me? Or put in the chat box if you can actually talk? Okay, or, okay, Jen, can you say something? Can you speak or no? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, Jen, can you actually now? Okay, there we go. Sorry, Jen. Okay.
No problem. Can you hear me now?
Yep, now I can hear you. It took me a little. Going from GoToWebinar to a different platform can sometimes be. And then we're going to do this with you, Bob, and then we're going to do this with whoever, so that you guys really get clear on what you need to have and how this will benefit you. So just I hope this will be beneficial for everyone. All right? Okay, Jen, let's rock and roll on exactly how I can help you.
Well, I have been sitting here today trying to go through the programs I've already purchased of yours and see how those can fit in with the services I provide. So I also graduated from IIN, but I hold a certification through FDN. So I do enjoy working with clients that, certainly require more complex testing and help. And so that's kind of where I'm stuck. I'm looking and trying to piece together different programs that I've purchased to figure out the right flow, like what you were just talking about a little bit ago and what you covered yesterday on your webinar.
Okay. So can you tell me what programs you bought?
Sure. So I do have the seasonal detox. I'll actually be purchasing the spring one so that I'm up to date. I have Revitalize. And I also have the sugar program.
Okay. So, so let's even not just talk about our signature business. Let's even talk about a plan. And this is what I talk a lot about even in the launch school. So, too often we come out of school and we're like, yeah, let's get going. I'm going to build my Instagram account. I'm going to get on Facebook business page. But we don't take time to even sit back and think about the plan. And this can be hard, especially, and I talked about this yesterday, because we don't know yet. So first, I would encourage you, Jen, to sit down and think about, what is the 90-day plan? What is the 120 plan? What is the 6 months? So when you think about that, really envision, what do you actually want to launch? Is this, and then go back saying online versus offline. Are we doing groups? Are we doing do it yourself? How do you really see yourself as a coach? So I think the fact that you also, so I would say added extras is that we have FDN, and so we can do testing. But I think you have to ask yourself, okay, do I want to be launching the spring detox? So let's just say mini launch plan. So maybe we want to go for an April. Let me just look at my calendar while I'm doing this. So if we're looking realistically, and I like people to plan so they don't put a lot of effort in, unless you're a seasonal, unless you've been doing launches and you have kind of that backing already of people on your list and they're like, oh yeah, when's it coming? I would encourage you to say, if Easter's the second week of April, to look maybe at the last week, or that kind of 27th as a kickoff. I think Mother's Day is the 9th of the 7th, right? Is it the 7th? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So you could go through Mother's Day. So maybe let's just say April last week, spring detox. Which means that you're really kicking off 2 weeks actually before that. So 2 weeks prior is open cart. So one is that we're looking at our spring detox as a gateway program. And gateway program just means that this is an opportunity for somebody to kind of get to know who you are, get to and again, you might have to look at your niche, or who is, or if the word cleanse or spring detox is better, or if you actually find that maybe using a different word, restart, refresh, any of the 1,000 words that are out there that kind of mean reset or jumpstart or all of this. So this is your gateway. Some people do a full launch. Some people do open cart the whole season. A few ideas, guys, just while we're here, is I actually found that it was fun to do a launch, but then I actually moved it into just doing monthly. And I charged like $99 per month. And I just said, you know what, if you want to be with me for the whole season, we can kind of do that spring detox, and you can be with me for $99 a month, and you get my full support. And that can be applicable to any program. So whether you're looking at grain-free, detox, even sugar, any of these that you have, even revitalize, that group coaching, when you just say, hey, you can get access to me 2 calls a month, it's a very simple plan. And it's a very simple marketing for the less than the cost of, a massage, pretty much. Or, I mean, geez, a massage at a resort is what, $225 for 90 minutes, less than the cost of 2 massages. You can get access to me and, and also a program. So this would be your kickoff. And for many coaches, say hormones or say sugar or, whatever is your niche. Then you go back and you start to actually think like, so what testing could actually be involved here? Or maybe what testing is actually involved here? And I would bring Revitalize, because I think Revitalize to me is one that is not as easy to launch that as it's not, I'm not saying it's not as easy to run as a group. I think it's easier to run that as a face-to-face, whereas sugar is just like, it's a little more simple. Whereas Revitalize to me is more like mindset. Like there's homework in there that is asking somebody to go a little deeper. Whereas sugar, like there's this focus. Here is sugar. And what are the reasons that we're coming out? It's still emotional, because it still talks about that emotional need and why we go to sugar. But I would keep Revitalize, and tell me if this is in alignment, Jen. I would keep Revitalize for your Work With Me page as a jump start for your weight loss, and then move them in to the 28. And I would keep your cleanse and then move them into a longer program. And otherwise you're like launching all year. And that's what I've seen other coaches do. And it gets exhausting. So instead, what is the plan? Is the plan to launch a seasonal detox 3 times and take summer off so that you're like spring, fall, winter? Or is it that you do spring and fall? And in the winter, maybe it is, a really just a full sugar jumpstart the New Year's, or do you add weight loss to kick off the New Year's and you use 2 week and Revitalize? So that's why I always say, guys, go into your vault. Like really look at what you have so that you are planning your year. It might take 10 hours. I mean, it might take I know I have to carve out 20 hours to really sit back and say, okay, what do I really want to do? And what do I have? But does that make sense, Jen?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I hadn't thought about Revitalize being, because it is a larger program, I hadn't thought about it being technically smaller and kind of a pre, kickoff or whatnot. So that makes perfect sense.
Well,
and I think the detox
sorry.
for me, at least for my clients as well, is, and why I'm excited about your spring offering is that it's, obviously more than just cleansing their body. Right. And so some of them are super toxic, to the point where we could honestly spend 6 months just on, detoxing, because it's so brutal for them, right, to even start out, and not from a commitment perspective, but because what their body is going to physically feel like, as they're getting rid of years worth of stuff.
And so, you can even say to people on your sales page, and I want every one of you guys to hear this, which is why these webinars, I wish so many people took advantage of them, because, these are just masterminds. in the sense that you can actually on your sales page have one part that says, join me for the spring detox. So you're almost like giving like a platinum level, and then you're giving like a diamond. So like platinum is like join for spring detox. And then like the diamond level is like join me for spring and be with me also for 6 months and get this included. I know Reed would be smiling at this. Like get the emotional tools that you need, change your mindset with me. But, and also let's do the metabolic testing, the cortisol, the stool test. Like, let's see what's really happening in the body that is out of balance. So by the time you've gone through 6 months with me, you're set. And I think, you know, that's what we don't see, or that's what we don't realize as coaches. Like, you know, some people will only come for the 14 day. This is what I was talking about, you know, on the webinar about psychology of buyers. Great marketers just are great at understanding psychology. Is that single session sometimes is somebody has to test drive. I had even a coach email in, and the coach said, can I apply the 20% to mindset makeover? And I was like, well, you already applied it to the weight loss. And the coach said, but I didn't know what your programs were going to be like. And I've gotten burned so many times, but I'm in love. And I was like, well, I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah. And that just confirmed what I say to you guys all the time. That's the single session. That's a tripwire. That's an opt-in freebie. It's that somebody says, or that's a challenge. Wow. You know, I got so taken care of, you know? And so you can have that and really plan out. So you're thinking, okay, am I doing events? Is this online? Is this offline? And plan out your business like this, and then take this onto a whiteboard, and then plan out your times so that maybe you are not just a serial launcher. You're planning out how many detoxes do I want to run? What do I need to buy? And taking yourself into an entrepreneurial mindset, which is really thinking, if I buy these programs, how much do I need to make back? Because the coach I was talking to right before this, I said, so if you buy sugar and you do really great face-to-face, and you did a cooking, she was like, well, I'm doing a lot of free workshops. I said, do you love cooking? She was like, yeah, that's what I do all the time. I said, so what if you had 10 women over and you did this twice a month, and you charged $30 or $35, and they got 7 days of like your favorite recipes. So let's just do that. 35, just so you know, I mean, it's $350. So you made $700. 700 times 12, 8,400. Now I know coaches who are making zero, right? Like, this is the common thing I see in every forum, which is why it's not that it makes me want to puke, although that is the first feeling, but it's just, I sit there and I go, there are so many options. There are so many options if you sit there and you step back from just the traditional way of looking at a program. You can have a cooking party. You could have a girls' night out. You could have a healthy cocktail party. And you could be chopping up parts of this and be like, hey guys, we're going to have like the girls' night out detox, and really take people through. Was it like, show them how to skin brush, do a castor oil pack party, you know, charge $25, have healthy, you know, smoothies. Like, people want community. So when I see coaches say, and trust me, I know what it feels like to not be able to pay bills, because that was the position we were in. But that's why when people say, I can't make money, I'm like, no, you can. You just haven't thought about how to make money, because you're just not looking at it from a different perspective. Does that make sense, Jen? I'm not saying you. I'm saying
Yes.
this for everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And I also like your suggestion around the test run, right? With a call, because in my experience, I do a ton of deals, right, with people, and sometimes 90 minutes is enough, right? But sometimes the problem is so big to solve, and you really can't solve it in 90 minutes, and that wasn't enough of a test run, right?
Yeah.
But to buy a package is just too much of a commitment for them at that point, because obviously it's there's a lot of work ahead of them. So I like tying the, a session or a single session to, for instance, a seasonal detox or something, because then they get to know you personally, but they also get to, be exposed maybe to the group program side of it.
And just remember also that some people need time associated with it. I think this is the part that we don't learn as coaches either. So saying to somebody, oh, well, you'll be with me for 6 months, and during this time, we'll be working together on your goals, and on a scale from 1 to 10, if you can have, and someone's on the other phone, on the other side, like, what is this person saying? Like, and so we're just trying to like say what we've been coached to say. But if you really said to somebody, look, during this 6 weeks, this is what you're going to learn. And you're showing them really what they get. Not like you're going to get recipes. We know what we're going to offer. We believe in ourselves. Some people don't. That's a whole nother topic for another day. And a whole nother topic would be money mindset. But the topic right now is some people really do need to see like exactly what they're going to get. Oh, you're getting 4 ebooks. You're getting 2 recipe guides. You're getting this. Like, and they feel at ease to be able to say, no problem. I'm going to give you that, 287 for a group, or I'm going to give you the 597 to work with you, or I'm going to give you the 200, whatever the prices are. It just sets somebody at peace so that they feel like you're worthy. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is the reality of the world. That's why when we go to buy a car, I always relate it to things outside of health coaching. We go to buy a car, we read the sticker. There's a reason. I'm not just going to go buy the car. We're test driving the car and we're reading the sticker. Otherwise, we walk out of there blind. So I hope this has been helpful. Yes, we're good.
Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Let me figure out how to get back. Okay, guys, just bear with me as I get back. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. Okay, bear with me. Now now I just need to find Bob. Okay. Okay, Bob. There you go. Bob? Bob, you are now. Bob, can you hear me? Bob, you are live. Bob? I'm going to write Bob unmute. Can you hear? Okay, so I'm just going to even speak for Bob because Bob can say, can you hear me? But I can't hear Bob. So let me just, give me 1 second, guys, and see if I can figure this. So Bob, you should be unmuted. But I can't hear you. Okay, so I'm just going to answer your questions. Okay. All right. Okay, so Bob is saying, brainstorming here, offering the Rockstar Cleanse as a group and a do-it-yourself, and Rockstar Weight Loss as a do-it-yourself and one-on-one. Wondering on the one-on-one side, how many sessions to offer. I'm used to the 6-week or 90-day time frame. PS, love PSs. My niche is women over 40 who have no time and have let their health and fitness go by the wayside. I also incorporate fitness, primarily HIIT. Thanks for your help. Okay. Oh, that's Julie. That's not Bob. Okay. All right. First, I was like, wow, that's really cool. Okay. So let me actually start. Bob, I'm going to change you to a viewer. And let me see if I can bring Julie up if Julie wants to. Julie's not on. Okay, I'm going to just cover Julie. And then Bob, I'm going to come back to you, I promise. Just pop your question back in and we'll go right on that. Okay, so let's do Julie. And then Bob, I would go a little more into gut dysfunction and we can like get really down to that. Okay, so let's just brainstorm this, okay? And we can go back into me even writing it down. Would you guys like writing it down better? Tell me in the chat box. Hit me in the chat box. Oh, Julie's saying yes. All right, let me flip you around. Okay, Julie. Okay, Julie, here we go. In my branded colors and all. Okay, so let's go. Julie, let's just say, just got to read it. Cleanse. Okay, so signature. Cleanse, so programs. And if any of you join the launch school, I call this what's in your vault. So like even if you work with me, I always ask people like, so what is in your vault? So one would be Rockstar Cleanse. One would be Rockstar Weight Loss. So we're looking at offerings. Sorry. We're looking at one-on-one. We're going to do it yourself. Looking at extras. Looking at fitness. Okay. So I always lay stuff out like this. I'm a very visual person, so I think that it's really important to lay stuff out so you can visually see it and you can see like, does it actually make sense? Okay, so if you are offering your signature program and you're trying to build out like what really works, one, it depends what is really, what really speaks to you. And so if you can actually just put in the chat box, Julie, oops, sorry. You can put into the chat box, Julie, which one is more important to you? Which one really speaks to your people? I would say if you're doing the weight loss, I think that probably blends with fitness more. So I would say taking the weight loss and adding fitness component. So I would actually say that like for your one-on-one, I would make fitness as the main program. I also would say that looking at easy weight loss, if you were thinking about a single session, I would look at easy weight loss. If you wanted to take it up a notch and look at like leveling up your main programs in your one-on-one, so that you could have different levels, I would look at sugar, because I think sugar plus fitness is huge. And I would make that so that somebody could come to you and they would have like almost like a 2-month program laid out, and you could actually give them fitness videos like with that. And that would really signature out how different it is to work with you compared to somebody else. And so when you are talking to somebody and taking that also, if you wanted to say here, so when you work with me, the difference between working with me to somebody else is that you get the best of both worlds. I'm not only going to teach you what are the best foods to fuel your body, but I'm also going to teach you how to train no matter where you are in this world. So when you work with me one-on-one, We get to Skype, we get to Zoom. I'm going to teach you how to train at home. I'm going to give you videos, and I'm also going to put you into my group where we kick off the sugar program twice a year. So you might want to think, and again, this would be like, this would be you thinking long term. So then you need to think about like your long term. And this is what we were doing with Jen. Like, what is your now? What is your now? What is your 6 months? What is your 12 month? I know I went smaller ones, 12 months. So if you wanted to get the cleanse now, you're kicking it off. I would even, and for anyone on this, like, think about what's coming up. We got Easter. All right, even though I'm Jewish, you know, who doesn't eat during these holidays? You know, I mean, it's spring break. I mean, you know, it's, or, you know, then we go into Easter, then Passover, like, you know, then we've got all these holidays. Then we've got, you know, Mother's Day, Memorial Day. I mean, it's like holiday galore, and everyone wants what? Beach body. So I want you guys to think about like what is beneficial and what are the launch times. So you could do Rock Star Cleanse, either kick off weight loss or keep cleanse as part of your system for your main. And this is where only, Julie, you are only gonna know this, or you combine the two, so that your signature program is really, hey guys, we're going to start with a cleanse. This would also lengthen your weight loss. So you're cleansing, and what you believe in is that during your cleanse, and this cleanse, per the work of Ann Louise Gittleman, even she believes, you know, you don't have to like go on a total vegan, vegetarian, all raw. She believes add protein, rebuild the cells, everything. You can say to people, look, during this cleanse, we're going to add, you know, collagen and beef and everything and all of that stuff, and animal protein. And then we're going to move into a weight loss program so that we've cleansed our body. We're ready to shred. We're ready for fat loss and everything, and make that part of the whole system. So you could actually have that to be a whole, like, you know, month-long system. This is for you to know, like, your people. Then I would bring the weight loss into your main, and we'll look at sugar if that's in like your price point of availability, because I think that rocking a sugar, kicking off the new year as a weight loss is ideal, so that you're really thinking forward. You know, again, and like, this is what we talked about in launch school. This is what I'm going to be talking about in June when I host like a mastermind, is like, what's the big picture? Because this is, you know, too often it's not that like Instagram, I always go back to Instagram and like Facebook and everything. It's not that that's not where we shouldn't be, you know, spending time, but it's like, we're not thinking about the big picture. We're not thinking about like our niche. We're not thinking about like what really is marketable and what's really right for us. So I want you to think like, okay, with this cleanse, why is that important? Well, we all know if our lymphatic system is clogged, this area is going to be puffalumpinum. Even if I call it skinny fat, which is what Mark Hyman calls it, will be skinny fat. This will be like poofed. And somebody just asked about hormones. Jen just asked, we will have that like sludge around there. So to really shred, to get this definement so that we can go to the gym and get that fat burning, we have to cleanse the body. We have to sweat. We have to sweat out the toxins so that we don't get sick, so that our body can work like a well-oiled machine. Or you go Elizabeth Ryder style and you kick off more with like a 6-week program, January 21st, 22nd, which means that you're really starting to promote like even before Christmas. So everyone get the feel what usually coaches are making the biggest mistake. They're not promoting early enough. They're not telling the story early enough. They're not dripping enough. Like, they're like, oh, I'm going to do a January launch. And they don't even start promoting until like the 5th of January. So getting back to you, because it's all about you, my girl, Julie, is I would look at the cleanse. And if you combine that, you know, look, your price point and everyone's price point is going to be a little different depending where you live and also your level of mindset, money mindset, level of also certifications, who you are, your knowledge, everything. So sometimes it's a little like this with prices, but I like that monthly coaching if you combine them to 99, 127, 97, 127. It's a nice price point where people feel comfortable. You know, when you get into the closer 200, which is totally doable for all that greatness, you can totally do it. So you could pull, you know, 197. So think about it. That's an option. Then fuse it into the one-on-one, and there you've got your business. And then boom, opt-in freebie on the front of the website, opt-in freebie maybe on the blog page, and opt-in freebie circulating on your business page and all over social media. Yeah. All right. Awesome, Julie. I think we just rocked it. Okay. Okay, I'm coming up to you, Bob. I have not left you. I have a great photographic memory. Okay, Jen's saying just hopping on. What do you like for hormone balancing? Okay, we're going down. We are going down, down, down. I forget that song. Okay, so here we go in the hormone. Again, it's like the disclaimer. I'm not a doctor or dietitian. I'm just a rad business coach. All right. So the thing is with hormones, it all comes down to what, guys? I always do this with my kids. What I always say, what does it come down to? They always go, probiotics, mommy. It always comes down to the liver, per the work of Rita Marie Loscanzo, Reed Davis, Linda Page, everyone. It comes down to the liver. Liver's got to be happy. And if the liver's not happy, nobody is. Well, actually right here. The adrenals, the thyroid, the lymph. So I like to say cleanse, grain-free. I mean, look, part of the work of, you know, Bulletproof, you know, a lot of grain brain. I mean, some people really, I found that really helps me to balance my hormones. Again, what is the system about? The system is about teaching something that worked for you. So I would say start off with a detox. Also, look, gut or sugar. And now the other part of it, and I talked to my good friend who is a Sarah Gottfried certified coach. We talked about this yesterday in detail. You can take all these herbs. I mean, I go to Chinese. I've gone to acupuncture for like 12 years, weekly, sometimes twice a week if needed. You know, I've taken herbs. I go to homeopathy. I, you know, do tons of different stuff. But if we don't change our mindset, cortisol levels are going to be so high. So as the hormones, especially as we go into perimenopause, menopause, all that, more yin deficient, and estrogen starts to get lower. But I will tell you this, as I worked on my liver and my gut and all of that, all of those hormones balance out. I didn't have to go shoving anything inside of me or putting stuff on me to balance anything. Start to naturally do that. So I would say cleanse, grain-free, because this is the thing, Jen, and you can listen also to the replays, that when the body starts to balance out, and you know, that doesn't happen overnight, it's that we have to say, okay, from the cleanse, what is this person intolerant to? Because intolerances also lead to congested liver, lead to the gallbladder, sugar imbalances, and then hormones are a mess, and then we're tired, and then all this different stuff. So, and then we crave sugar, and then we're eating things that are just making us a hot mess. So I would say that, and then I would also say, Jen, think about your niche. What is marketable? I don't know what woman doesn't want to get off of sugar or isn't stressed and overwhelmed and has put self-care to the side, like Jen said. It's like we so often just feel so overwhelmed as people. who doesn't have gut dysbiosis? I mean, seriously, it's like the amount of children. I know children on more medication than my husband's grandmom, who's 95. It's crazy. So, I would say that is a great thing. I would say cleanse, grain-free, gut, sugar. So you could say cleanse, move into grain-free, and then build it out just as we did here. What's a single session? What is a cleanse? And do you want to make it cleanse extended? Because I think that's the power. I mean, that's what happened to me is I was, running cleanses, and I was realizing that some people needed to extend cleanse longer. So instead of just 7 days, I was like, some of these people actually need to cleanse longer than 7 days. Some people didn't want to do the transition. Some people wanted to extend the transition to be every 5 days, especially those with real digestive issues like myself. Some people wanted to add in food every 7. So I was like, dude, we're just doing this for a whole month. And if you want to then join me for another month, great, $99. That worked out really well. So that's an option. And it's a very valuable option as well because, it takes us out of that launch like craziness and puts us also into engagement and connection with our people. And, if some people need one-on-one, that's what they do. I just want to say to all of you guys, you got the replay from yesterday. If you have hopped off or you need to hop off because you need to be with your family or you need to do some self-care, you need to go grab a green juice or go take a probiotic, I totally get it. It's Saturday. Just make sure that you check your replay page for the VIP special Rockstar coupon. And it is one per program per coach for full pay. And if you have any specific questions, just feel free to reach out to me. Okay. Sandy's saying you really help us to think. Bob's saying, where is that at? Let me also, great. If anybody did not get the replay page, Bob, email me. Let me just put my email here. Oops. This is my email, guys. The whole world has it anyway. That's my personal one, like this right here. We'll just underline it and put that in bold red. Bob, email me. Okay. Sometimes you email different places. So feel free to email me, guys. It's all good. Some people say sorry. Don't say sorry. We said that enough. Just be in full acceptance that you're asking for what you need in your life to get to a next place. Sandy's saying you really helped us to think outside the box. I'm new to you and I wish I'd known about you a year ago. Aw, well, you're here now. And okay, only found out about this webinar yesterday and couldn't make it last night. Is there a recording from last night? 1, Sandy, there is a recording. 2, there's also a recording of our official kickoff. So I want you to have both. So please, Sandy, email me. I know you signed up for this webinar, which is how you got here. So yes, I will be sending out the replay after this, but Sandy, please email me here. I'm going to put my email into the chat box. And I'm going to send it to all of you guys. Oops. And if anybody needs to talk to me, I talk to a bunch of coaches all the time. It's not a problem. My family knows. They know that they're my top commitment, and so are you guys. Okay, wait. So Sandy, you might have to, wait, hold on. You might have to resubmit yours. Okay, let me go into resubmit yours for me, Sandy. That would be great. Okay, Kim's saying my niche is restore your gut. Kim, here we are. I thought we had this all figured out. Just curious, would it be for SIBO, IBS, thyroid? Can you explain more about? Okay, this is when we get into those like GAP, SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and Bob, I'm going to get to in just a sec, thyroid, etc. And this will help. So Bob works with people with gut dysbiosis. Kim, you work with people with gut dysbiosis dealing with skin issues, and Bob with chronic illnesses. So let's just break this down, guys. And Sandy, please hit me back up with that question. I'm sorry, when I answered you in that one email. Okay, so this is my thought process, is that if you're dealing with gut dysfunction, I always think gut health. Need to see things a certain way. So let's just say gut health. This is my process. Cleanse to gut. And you might have to go back to cleanse, because once the gut has gotten somewhat healthy, there is then an overspill of toxins. So sometimes there's like, you know, here we go. It is just like pouring back in. That sometimes will happen because what they call like level 1 of liver is actually working into going to level 2. That can also happen when people actually start to eat healthy. They've taken away the sad American diet kind of stuff. Chronic illnesses are a little different because, you know, with chronic illnesses, there's layers. There's biofilm, there's pathogens, there's candida, there's so much stuff. And there's also a lot of, you know, emotional stuff that goes with that, you know, a lot of emotional toxins. So I think cleansing has to also be an emotional aspect. But I would say that this could also be replaced with, you know, grain-free, meaning that some people have to, with the gut, also go grain-free. And you're going to have to see if somebody needs to go there. For me, it was kind of an all of the above. And that's why, you know, for me, it was cleanse. It was gut health. It was seeing if I needed to go raw. And I needed to do the elimination diet. I mean, this part of it was for a very long time seeing which foods were good. And so I think for you, Bob, if you were really looking at a combination, you know, mindset or revitalize, because it takes people through that process. I mean, revitalize is broken down into 4 ebooks where it takes somebody through the process of like, what are your goals? Now, it's different than mindset. I mean, the mindset is, you know, it's all focused on mindset. I mean, of course, there's not one program I write that doesn't have a part on probiotics and gut health and stuff of that nature, because it has to be there, and allergens and toxins and stuff, because you have to empower your clients of that stuff. But mindset is all about changing the mind, because you can eat so healthy, you can do all these things, but if the mind is congested with old stories and negative people, and if you can't eliminate them, and if you can't hold your boundaries and hold your truth, we stay sick no matter what. Like, we could be, you know, chugging down great juices and doing all these different things and eating really healthy, and it won't even enter our cells, because our cells are so sick. So I do see people, I know a lot of people who offer 3-month programs very similar to mindset and end with retreats, or offer them face-to-face. And that could be done with sugar. That could be done with gut health. Any of these programs can be done face-to-face or done online. I did Revitalize with a Mom's Group face-to-face. We kicked off. 6 weeks later, we closed out. Had them in a private Facebook group. So it was face-to-face, but I was engaging with them daily and giving them tips and helping them. And then the gym was doing with their fitness. So for Julie and for a few other people, Julie, who, I think it's Julie, yes, who is doing the fitness part, it's a great idea. And there's so many different ways to think outside the box. And so with the retreat, it doesn't have to be extensive. A retreat can also be a day retreat. I did that in Florida where I live, where I approached a yoga studio that had a huge space. We did a day retreat. We charged $197 for the day. I had somebody come in and do belly dancing. I had somebody come in and teach how to make like these really yummy chocolate desserts. We did vision boards. We did mindset reprogramming. I mean, it was a great day. It doesn't have to be these elaborate retreats. You can get a B&B. You know, there are a lot of different places that do event B&Bs and have like a 10-person retreat. I've seen people do the detox and end with that. I've seen people end with masterminds. The money just, you need to financially work out. So I think to answer your question about VIP, a lot of people buy VIP because they want to have, as you see, their Work With Me page phased into different offerings. They also want to have different programs that may not even be on the front page of their website, but that can be produced at different times of the year to either be launched or to be packaged with different programs. Bob is saying, I'm still trying to figure out. Bob, I think for you, I would start with the one that really calls to you. Some coaches buy VIP and you don't feel overwhelmed at all. I think the biggest downside that I see for coaches is it's not the knowledge. It's usually not, some coaches can't edit in Word. I think it's the usually delivery of getting it into either MailChimp or how to get it into Dropbox and then how to put it onto like Eventbrite or a sales page. So what you do get is it's not, yes, I do have your back in the sense that I don't just like sell it to you and then leave you. You are in a forum, but I'm not there 24/7. I do put the responsibility on you guys to edit that and to think about how you want to plan your programs. In the sense that, you as a coach say, what would my Work With Me look like? How would I use these programs? How would I reach out to local vendors? Nobody taught me that. I was shaking in my, boots thinking, how am I going to do this? And I just did it. And some people don't have that doer personality, and some people do. So the programs are just the foundation for you to then add in. For small intestinal bacteria overgrowth and all of the things, Kim, that you mentioned, the gut program covers these extra questions, such as small intestinal bacteria and definitions. But it doesn't go into that because that would be crossing what a health coach is not supposed to do. We're not supposed to diagnose. We're supposed to give information. So I like to refer to information like Chris Kessler and Mark Hyman and, books that people, or information and articles that people would know. So it's more informative. And so, if you feel like you need to go into that, that's why I like to, have people or work with people in collaboration. Let's just, such as an acupuncturist or a chiropractor, so that if we do cross over into there and somebody, or if somebody has gone to FDN and they're able to run tests, that, they run those tests and they can see what is going on. Julia is saying, I think as coaches, we get stuck on packaging prices. We are taught a lot through training to only charge those high prices, not. Yeah, well, you know what? I'll tell you an interesting thing. I've been to a lot of events and I hear that high packaging charge, this high packaging, which, trust me, I have walked out of events or been in there and been like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? And then I ask the people who are charging this high price, how many clients do you have? And they're like, none. And then I sit there and think, wow, so maybe this high value charging, look, Fabian, I love. Gina DeVay, I love all these people who have platforms that believe in money mindset. But this is the thing. If you are charging a certain amount and you don't have value add on your page, on your Work With Me, or you don't have the confidence behind you to convert, who is going to buy a $2,500 Work With Me, 2-month program from you? Can someone just answer me? It's not that we're taught that. We are taught to charge our worth, but we are often taught with these fear-based tactics. And again, this is not from the school I attend. I just see this on Facebook. The only other school that I attended was Marie Forleo, 6 years into my business, or 6.5 years into my business. And there's not talk on pricing in there. So I don't know what anyone else teaches. I just see what I see on Facebook. And it's these fear-based tactics to charge these high prices. Make $5,000 one day, make, $30,000 coaching, poolside luxury, it's like, but what I see and because I'm in a lot of forums and I might not speak up, but I see a lot of coaches not making any money. So I'm in the business of helping coaches to make money. And so as I played out with this, like, say you buy a program, in the program, let's say it's even like $717, right? So say you have a workshop, that's $45, and you have 10 people come over. It's $450, and you do that twice. It's $900. Do that 12, $10,800. Okay, so then you charge $600, or let's say you're on the less. Say you're charging $450 for your month, and you have 5 clients, and you're doing that 12. That's $27,000 plus the $9,000 you just made. That's $36,000. I don't know many coaches who are even doing that. So you just took one program that you bought from me and you turned it into $36,000. Ta-da! So, okay, what does value look like? But at the same time, people value program. Bob, and this is the thing. Everyone values different, and they're all pricing strategies, and that's why I'm trying to say, and I'm not like beating this down as a dead horse. In every program, we give a pricing sheet. Some not in basic, but in most of the rock stars, we give a pricing sheet. The pricing is going to be based on strategy. Some people price very low to be able to get people in the door into your funnel because their one-on-one is what they really want. Some people have their one-on-one higher and have low-end cost cleanses because that is, or some people it's the opposite. Some people charge a higher price group program, but give a lot of energy because that is where, and they are going to promote for 4 to 5 weeks. So I think the bigger question, Bob, is to really look at what program calls to you and what program you're not going to feel like massively overwhelmed with, and to look at what program you can start with that would still feed into your community and to your niche. Pricing is something that is very unique, and it cannot just be answered on a call without even you and I working one-on-one. And I think anybody on this call, anybody who even knows me, or anybody who has been coaching even, that's where I think a lot of us get stuck in it. And it is a beta testing thing, and it isn't a black and white. I wish I could say, on average, a 14-day costs usually about $97 to $127. Some people though go low and they go 67. Some people go higher depending on the value add that they have. Some people bonus and leverage. And so it all depends on, what you're offering and how you're offering it. I hope that helps. I hope that made it a little more, just a little more easier to grasp with the pricing and the valuing and stuff like that. Okay. All right, and Sandra was saying, okay. Yes, Jen is saying that no one will pay without. Okay, so Kim, I do think that 100% you should go with sugar, even though I think you're going back and forth to gut. And VIP is just all of the programs that I feel, and then I really looked at them and I thought would be great as a whole system to give you an array of a tripwire, which is like that program. And maybe Bob, this is helpful, like the program where you're like, oh my God, I am going to, this is like too good to be true. So I'm like tripping in, you know, I'm like, I have to get this. Or some people will sell like, you know, a recipe guide for, you know, like $7 for 50 recipes. Or they'll sell a cleanse, you know, for 17, but that's part of their funnel. It's like the funnel. And then it's like the low cost program. And then it's like the higher program. So I always say to people, you really look at your whole system as your business funnel. Then think about your system. Like, what is your system for success that has worked for you and that you are teaching your clients, and how do the programs fit into that? Because the programs, what they give you guys, and I think this is the end thing to leave on, they don't give you like this miracle, you know, they give you a solution that took me, you know, I would say one 5,000 ebook takes me like 2 days. One 5,000 guide takes me 2 days to write. Mindset has 6. Sugar has 6. I think gut has 6. It's a lot of time. And then usually with our editors, we go through drafts, and with our VA teams, we go through the social media, the flyers, the PowerPoints, all that different stuff. Copywriters are writing the sales pages, the email sequences, all that different stuff. So it's the time saver for you. But then your job, unless you join like a mastermind with me, or unless you coach with me, or unless, you know, there's some specific one-on-one time, is to figure out how it's going to lay out, you know, unless we have like, you know, times like this, and to take it to like how's it going to really work for your niche, for you as a coach, and all these different levels. So and to really sit there and think about the pricing for you, and what is your price per hour, because I even talked about this last night. Your price per hour is also going to decide what is your VIP day and how much are you going to charge for that. So there's a lot of different parts that go into understanding like how to coach, and not the how to coach part, but how to master your business so you don't feel like, you know, it's not the how to coach part that you guys, you know, for most of you, it's usually how to build your business. Okay, so let me just read this from Sandy before I go eat myself some dinner. Okay, please tell us about the launch, launch program, different between the normal one and the live one, prices as well. If I want to start now, can I start with recording? Yeah, so launch school, it's actually an all year. It's a group that is in there all year, like, except for Friday, yesterday, because I was just so tired, and, you know, everyone knew that we were launching. We are in there, actively in there all the time. I mean, everyone did kick off and like started in December. So we went through that like intense 2-month period where everyone was asking questions and they were doing their homework and everything like that. But you can start now. You can start on like your pre-launch homework. Then you can start on like the second phase of the pre-launch homework. And we kick off on April 6th, where I'm going to take you through every piece of the material and how to understand it. Then I do office hours every Friday, but I'm also in there. Like if you tag and you have a question, I'm in there. The materials are set up so that you are planning out. And when I do office hours, I usually flip it around. So like, we'll have an office hour and it will be on that homework that week. And the videos that are already done is on that homework that week. And then the homework will even be in alignment, like how do you connect MailChimp to a sales page, or how do you connect it to your Dropbox to actually trigger. So we did all the tech tutorials based on taking you through launch process. then what I do usually twice a year is then I have a mastermind, which is more about building your business, and where we have, you know, more like group coaching that is about starting from like really understanding your story, your niche, where to spend your time, how to craft your work with me, like all of that great stuff from the ground up. And so I do that in a group coaching. I've done it before where it's been like a 1 month or a 2 month. This year, I'm actually going to do probably a 2 or a 3 month mastermind with people and really do breakout sessions and hot seats and stuff like that. But launch school is what's happening now. And that is actually lifetime admission. So if there is new material, which there will be, if there are guest experts, which there will be, once you buy that now, you're in there for life. And then, okay, I'm downloading the weekly PS. How do I sell and explain the diet component, which I have a group program in Florida? Okay, so now you live in Florida. So the biggest thing with Florida is I never overstep the laws. I just don't. My business is too important, and that's it. I mean, I speak from experience. There are other coaches who maybe they don't abide by that, but that is very important for me. So with fitness, I would reach out to your school and see what you are covered and what you're allowed to do. I then, with the programs, what you're really doing, and that's why in the programs, it doesn't say like eat X amount of, you know, this ounces of protein. So that I made it so that coaches would not be like telling somebody what to do. And then you have somebody who is joining your group or your program, and you also have the complete, you know, disclaimers and everything that you need so that you are protecting yourself and your business and your site and also your potential clients, and having them be aware that you are not making a claim or a diagnosis of them. As far as the fitness videos, you also, upon having them sign up, have them acknowledge on the checkout, you know, that they are acknowledging that they are, you know, taking responsibility for themselves, which is something that they can do upon checkout, and that they can read it, and that they can also sign something, and that can be on your website as well. So feel free to also personal message me. I can connect you with Sean, who is actually one of the bonuses. He's a great lawyer, very knowledgeable, and he can also help you protect your site and tell you what you need to have for that as well. And then I can talk about the mastermind. I haven't gotten all the details. I started to actually put them together. So if you have questions about launch school, feel free to email me. My email is here. Do you give house to and how to link up email active campaign? I don't actually have active campaign in the launch goal. MailChimp I just keep because most people aren't at like Entreport or active campaign or Infusionsoft, so I don't have that launch goal. And I would say, Bob, if you are at that level, you know, we do talk about funnels and stuff of that nature. But if you're with active campaign and you're setting it up, I know it's very similar and kind of intuitive like MailChimp, then you can look at some of the tutorials and you can definitely email me and I can tell you if it's the right fit. Like, I don't want you to buy something that's not like for you. And maybe a VA would be more beneficial than spending that, you know, maybe that's what you need more to just help you get organized. Mastermind group will start in June. Launch school will start August 6th, we kick off. So, and I just have to work out the details on the school. So, all right, guys, I will be sending out the replay. If you have any questions, just remember that the VIP will be ending tomorrow at 7 p.m. There are no exceptions at all. So it has been a huge pleasure to be with you guys. Feel free to email me, whether it's Facebook or my email or anything. And this was a really, really, really awesome webinar. Thank you so much for being patient while I was just figuring out a few settings. And thank you for offering your greatness. And thank you, Jen and Julie, for, stepping up and doing hot seats and offering, yourselves. I appreciate it with, all my heart. So have a great one. I will see you guys soon. If you have questions, reach out, and let's crush it. I will see you soon. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a great one. I will see you on Facebook. Bye, guys.